actually, is to have our photograph taken, so please carry on. And looking around the room, I think, first of all, we've got to recognize that it's time for us to have a major debate in Britain in which we engage the public in a debate about Europe. You know, here in France, there was a debate about Europe just 10 or so years ago over the single currency. But for us, we've not had any referendum in Britain on the question of Europe for almost 30 years. And I think it's time to do that now and to flush these arguments out, to have them honestly with people, and to say to the British people, it's time to decide whether we want to be key central players in Europe or whether we want to be at the margins of influence. And that is the choice for us.
With no exceptions. And today, we see, of course, it still has to make further efforts. That is why we are awaiting the report of the European Commission, which will be presented to the European Council of Ministers in October, in order to see if Turkey has done what is necessary to ensure that the Copenhagen criteria are complied with, not only in terms of legislation, but also in terms of day-to-day reality for the whole population. If that is the case, then we can look at launching negotiations. So let's await the Commission report. The negotiations can begin for accession. This is a very lengthy process. We should be aware of that. You can't just do it overnight. It takes years. The integration of Turkey into European standards and norms will be long and difficult. But this will be done, and it is desirable that this happens.
Une question ici. Is it in English or in French?
When is England going to join the euro?
Now, we keep that under constant review, but in my view, we can persuade people to join the single currency in Britain, provided we can make a clear and unambiguous economic case for it. And at the present time, we're not in a position to do that. But obviously, in time to come, that can change. And that's why, as we've said, we've got to keep it under review, and provided the economic conditions are met, we'll join.
And is it part of European logic to strengthen those partnerships for sustainable development? I know
because I think all the recent research on climate, I think what is important is that whatever disagreements there have been about the conflict, we are in the situation we are now, and it is in the interests of everybody that Iraq stabilizes and becomes a prosperous and democratic country. Now, there is a process that is being organized and handled by the UN representative, Mr. Brahimi. He will present his proposal soon. We actually are in discussion, along with other members of the UN Security Council, as to how we can now find a way forward, a political process that involves this transfer of sovereignty, and that has the blessing and support of the United Nations Security Council. Now, I happen to think that is important political steps to make sure we come to an agreement on this. And I hope that we can, because in the end, that is in the
as regards Iraq, I would agree with Tony Blair. Today, it is obvious that the vast majority of Iraqis really feel bad about these forces that are occupation forces, peace forces, which it views as a force of occupation. It is therefore extremely urgent to transfer the reality and without ambiguity of sovereignty and powers to a genuinely Iraqi authority recognized as such by the Iraqi people.
A very happy time ahead of you. Thank you.